built two parlays with a total odds of 24. Let's break them down. First parlay, first event. Barcelona versus Betis, and honestly I think a lot of people are expecting relaxed football from the host way too early just because the title is already secure. Yeah, Barca no longer has tournament pressure, but this team now has a different subject: finishing the season perfectly at home. And for the Flick's side, that's actually a huge story, because winning every single home match in La Liga is something that stays in history forever, especially after that slip-up against Alaves, where it became obvious how much the team drops off without the right mentality and with heavy rotation. Barca didn't even look like themselves there and barely created anything. I think at home the reaction would be completely different. At Camp Nou, Barcelona have absolutely destroyed opponents all season long. 18 wins from 18 home games, and against top teams they played especially aggressive. Real Madrid were beaten 2-0, Atletico 31, Villarreal 4-1. And the most important thing is that Flick's Barca never stops attacking, even when the score is already comfortable. Plus, statistically at home, Barcelona generate around 2.6 xg per game against strong opponents. And that's already the level of complete domination. Buddy, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match analysis every single day and always try to keep my subscribers in profit. And I'm always happy to see fair criticism and your own betting opinions in the comments, because I genuinely read all of them. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I am one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. As for the visitors, Betis obviously had a fantastic season too and fully deserved their Champions League qualification. Pellegrini squeezed the maximum out of this squad, especially considering all the instability and the packed schedule. But now it feels like the team has emotionally exhaled a bit. Yeah, offensively Betis remain dangerous, and away from home they still create chances consistently. 8 goals in their last 5 away matches, including Europa League games. But defensively, they've become noticeably weaker in spring. 5 goals conceded in the last 3 away matches is a worrying sign against this Barcelona side, especially because Barca averaging almost 2.5 goals per home game just by themselves. At the same time, I don't think Betis will completely collapse here. Pellegrini's side know how to play open football, and they will most likely get their chance too, especially because after securing the title, Barca don't work as aggressively without the ball anymore, while Betis have scored in 5 straight away matches. So a goal from the visitors is definitely light here. Overall, I'm expecting an open game without much pressure, where both teams think more about attacking than defensive structure. For the parlay, I'm taking 1x plus under 4.5 goals, because at home Barca almost always play entertaining football, and even in relaxed mode they can easily create a fun game. And for the crazy parlay, I'm going with Barcelona to win plus under 4.5 goals at 2 odds. First parlay, second event, Sevilla versus Real Madrid, and honestly I think people are overrating Sevilla's motivation and underrating the fact that Real Madrid are slowly recovering after a disastrous season. Yes, Sevilla really came alive under Luis Garcia Plaza. The team simplified their football, stopped overcomplicating things, and started collecting points through character, direct attacks, and aggressive home performances. That 3-2 win over Villarreal was very revealing, because Sevilla didn't just sit back there. They genuinely attacked and caused problems. Plus, they are on a strong home run right now. Only one defeat in the last 8 matches in the Sanchez Puzan. And under the new manager, they've won 3 straight home games. Most important, Sevilla had finally started scoring consistently again. But there is a problem. Historically, they struggled badly against Real Madrid. Los Blancos won 5 of the last 6 meetings at this stadium. And even when Madrid themselves were in crisis, they still found ways to get results here. Right now, the situation around Real no longer looks as toxic as it did a few weeks ago. After El Clasico, the team gradually calmed down, and the match against Oviedo showed that Real still look extremely powerful in terms of pure football quality. 19 shots, total control, and comfortable lead. Yeah, the season is failure, but the individual quality hasn't disappeared. Vinicius, Bellingham, Mbappé, that trio is enough to break down almost any defense in La Liga, especially one as unstable as Sevilla's current backline. At the same time, the game itself should be open. Sevilla need points, so at home they will not park the bus, while the Real themselves are playing more freely now. But ETS looks very realistic here. Sevilla scored 5 goals across their last 3 home matches, while Real keeps scoring in almost every league game. Plus, in 3 of the last 4 meetings in Seville, both teams scored. So I am expecting lively football with chances on both sides. For the parlay, I'm taking under 3.5 goals. Because despite the attacking names, Real have become slightly more pragmatic recently. While Sevilla are still not the kind of team that constantly turns games against top clubs into total chaos. But for the crazy parlay, I really like Real Madrid corners handicap -1 at 2.1. Second parlay, first event, Paris versus PSG, and honestly I think a lot of people are overrating PSG purely because of the club name. Yeah, PSG are champions and obviously much stronger on paper, but this is actually a very uncomfortable spot for them. Luis Enrique already has all these thoughts focused on the Champions League final against Arsenal, and this league game feels more like a rehearsal with rotation and careful management of key players, especially because PSG have several important absences. Hakimi, Mendes, Pacho and a few others are out, meaning their defensive structure once again will not be close to optimal. And against that background, Paris suddenly look like a dangerous opponent. Since Camboire arrived, the team has genuinely transformed. Under Gili, they look like an unstable mid-table side, but now at home they play aggressively and with confidence. 4 wins in 5 home matches is a serious indicator, especially after destroying Monaco 4-1. And most important, Paris aren't afraid to play open football even against big clubs. In a derby that matters even more, because for the hosts this is a historic day. First Real Paris derby at Stade Jean Bouin, full stadium, zero pressure in terms of the tape. Perfect conditions to play with maximum emotion. Previous meetings already showed PSG don't dominate this opponent as easily as people think. In the league they only won 2-1, and in the French Cup, Paris actually beat them 1-0. Right now the hosts are in a much better form than they were back then. But at the same time, I still can't believe PSG completely collapsed here. Even the rotated side remains a machine by League One standards. Barcola, Ramos, Ruiz, that's still more than enough quality to consistently create chances. Plus, PSG have scored at least twice in almost every away match this spring. The only team that truly stopped them was Bayern in the Champions League. And Paris are far from perfect defensively, especially against quick attacks. So this game strongly smells like open football and goes on both ends. Both teams are psychologically relaxed now, nobody will sit back and kill the game. And in those conditions, PSG usually produce entertaining matches. For the parlay, I'm taking under 4.5 goals, because even in an open scenario, I still don't expect completely chaos with 5 or 6 goals. But for the crazy parlay, I really love Paris double chance at 2.4. Second parlay, second event, Marseille versus Rennes, and for me this story is mainly about the current state of the teams rather than the table itself. Formally, both sides still have motivation. Marseille are fighting for Europa League, while Rennes still dream about sneaking into the Champions League. But emotionally, these teams are currently on completely different levels. Marseille under Habib Baye look extremely heavy. And it's not only about the results, but the whole atmosphere around the club. Constant talks about selling players, financial issues, the manager situation, unhappy fans. All of this is clearly affecting the team. Even wins against Metz and Le Havre looked painful and forced, while offensively Marseille no longer resembled the team from the De Zerbi era. In 8 of their last 9 matches, they scored 1 goal or fewer, and that's a very revealing number. Plus, there is a silent protest from the fans, a massive disadvantage for Marseille because the Velodrome has always been one of the club's greatest strengths. Right now they are basically losing the support. And into this situation comes Rennes, who have caught incredible momentum since the managerial change. Frank Hayes completely revived the team. 8 wins in 11 matches is already top club level. And most importantly, Rennes are now extremely consistent in attack. 6 straight league matches with at least 2 goals scored, and away from home under the new manager, they have played highly aggressive football. In 4 of the last 5 away matches, Rennes scored at least 3 times, and that matters a lot against this current Marseille defense, which looks extremely nervous. Plus, the motivation for the visitor is enormous. Yeah, not everything depends on that, but the Champions League dream is still alive, meaning they will play only for the win. In terms of mentality and football quality, Rennes look far more convincing right now. But at the same time, I don't think this becomes a close defensive game. Both teams need points, meaning somebody will open up no matter the scoreline, especially because Marseille at home still create chances even during this crisis, while Rennes themselves are far from perfect defensively when forced to dominate. So BTTS looks very realistic here too. For the parlay, I'm taking Rennes team total over 1 because the visitors' attacks is absolutely on fire right now, while Marseille's defense doesn't look capable of surviving pressure for 90 minutes. And for the crazy parlay, I'm going with 2x plus BTTS at 2.4 odds.